Hey everyone, it's Adam here, and we're back, and we're going to be talking today how to find your first client. Now, one of the biggest things I see, and I get asked by a lot of entrepreneurs, people who are starting out in the website game, is how to find clients or how to bring people in and get good sales, how to sell them. All of these questions come up, and to be honest with you, there's not a lot of new information out there about this, but I want to talk about my process, what I did to find my first clients, build my first network and really start getting small to medium to large projects in the door over a period of time. So for you, I hope this is helpful to learn from my experience and what I was able to do, and also maybe a different technique or styles of things you can approach with to build and grow your network and also what you've done in terms of projects. Now, one of the biggest things I always tell people when you're starting out is you have to find that first champion. And when I say that is that's that client that you work with, that you do such a good job that they can't help but tell everyone about you. That person is going to become your champion and adds credibility to your name. And a lot of the time, they're going to have a network of people who probably won't even look at your website when they tell them, hey, this person's an amazing website person. You need to use them for your website. They come right to you. You get on a phone call, you go through an email, they'll talk to you. You already have initial trust and buy-in because someone they trusted told them about you. You're going to have a much easier time selling to these people because you have that referral. Now, it does take a lot of effort, but you can find champions. And the goal is to find as many champions as possible to build and grow your business. So, starting out, you need to talk with your family and friends. These are people who already know and trust you. These are going to be your champions from the get go. The limitation here is that probably a lot of them don't really know what you're trying to do or they're not really interested in it. There might be a few people in your family who run businesses or have organizations or work for businesses or small businesses. You might be able to approach them through that lens of, hey, I can help your business, or hey, can I meet with someone at your company to talk with them about a website or something like this in their organization, right? So that's where you should start. You need to have your people who trust you, who know you, and they know you're going to be able to do this well. And they'll be able to vouch for you saying, hey, I know this person, they can do this, right? And that's going to give you that initial buy-in without having a website, without having a track record, without, honestly, it's going to be very, very difficult for you even then to sell a website, but that's going to give you maybe that edge that this person will at least trust you enough to try, right? Next, you need to go to networking events. I'm not saying like artificial speed networking things. I'm talking about go to real events that are about things you care about or things you're interested in and talk to people. The biggest thing you can do at these events is you can tell people honestly what you do, but don't sell them. Don't go in that mindset of selling people because you're not going to win. You're not going to get them on board. There's so many people who do this. It's going to be a huge turnoff. You need to be able to build a relationship with them and build trust. And the biggest way you can do that is providing value for free. If they're a website, person as well, talk with them about websites, talking about what tools you use, talk with them about what tools you use, why you do it, processes, right? Build that rapport, build that trust. The reason why I'm saying this is partnerships are one of the best ways to build a business because there are people who maybe have overflow work, who maybe don't do certain types of work that you can partner with and help work with them to help them look good, help them fill their quota for their clients. So don't rule those people out, even if you think they're competitors, right? Those are not competitors. Those are potential partners. So you can build and grow a business together, right? Also, when you're talking to people, make sure you're understanding where they work, what they're doing, where they're at. You have to be talking with people who probably are going to be decision makers or maybe involved in the process of decisions. So people who work in marketing, people who work in the IT department, people who are project managers or general managers and things like that. Those are the people who probably will be the most interested in collaborating with you in the future. And don't expect that to come that night or that day when you're talking to them. Give them your business card. You'll be surprised how many people will reach out down the road, a month, 2 months, 3 months, because they remember you and talking about websites and the advice you gave them about their website without trying to sell them. They'll come back to you and be like, hey, I have another question about websites. And that could turn into a lead, that could turn into a project for you. So you have to play the long game here. But if you go in guns blazing and you try to find everyone and sell them right from the get-go, you might get lucky. But I guarantee you that's not going to be a project you're going to love to work on. and it's going to turn everyone off from you, and you're not going to get any potential leads from that project. So be very careful, be very strategic on that front. Next, what I want you to look into is groups, online communities. So you can talk about Facebook, you do LinkedIn, you can do Reddit, you can do these different multitude of local groups, other things like that, right? My personal experience was with Facebook groups. What I did was I joined groups related to themes or plugins that I use, or WordPress in general groups. And what I was able to find is I was able to learn that a lot of these groups have people posting, hey, I need help with this theme, or I need help with this plugin. And you're able to message them or comment on that post and be able to follow up with them and then pitch them basically in a message saying, hey, I saw your message on this group. I would love to be able to learn more about the project. I've been working with this theme for the last 2 years, or I've been able to build multiple websites on it. I think I can definitely help you with your project or whatever. There's a lot of people that are probably not going to respond, but there will be people who do respond. And when they do respond, you're able to maybe set up a meeting with them, talk on Google Meet or Skype or Facebook chat or whatever, to be able to learn more about the project. I don't recommend offering any pricing up front. I don't recommend overpromising or saying you're the best at it. Just be honest, talk with them, communicate, and most people will respond accordingly. And you're going to know right from the get-go, and I'll talk more about this in the next video of how to sell websites, but you're going to know right from the get-go if that person's looking for the bottom dollar or if they're looking for someone who actually is the best fit for what they're trying to do. And there's different signs about that, but I won't get into that in this video. So in those groups, there's going to be a lot of opportunity. The biggest thing for you is you need to monitor them, and you need to be one of the first people who comments and sends a message, because in these groups, you're going to have 20, 30, 50, 100 people who might send them a message. And you better believe that this person's not going to go through all 100 of those messages. They're going to go through the first 20 and find someone they think fits, and they're going to move forward. So you have to move pretty quickly. You have to stay on top of things, and you have to be pretty quick to the draw on sending a professional and also a fun, maybe engaging message, so that it's maybe interesting enough for them to respond to it before they move on to other messages. So keep that in mind. Definitely keep in mind the tone of the group. Is it going to be, a WordPress group? Is it a theme group? Make sure you understand what the context is. If it's LinkedIn, if a little more professional, respond accordingly. Make sure you're understanding the vibe and what people are looking for and what they're assuming you can do. And please have a professional Facebook profile picture. I know that it's private per se, but when you're using this for business on Facebook, it does go a long way. If you don't have a picture of yourself, if you have a picture of something else, that's okay, but make sure it's professional. But really, people connect with humans and they want to know who you are, even if it's just a slight picture. Also, make sure your privacy settings are set up properly so that people can't just look through your newsfeed and other things. Because honestly, the less details they can get on that front, the less judgments they can make, and they judge you more based on your messages and their interactions with you. And I'm not saying anything about your newsfeed or anything, but people can be nosy, and you don't really want to give them any options to kind of write you off because of some weird post you made 10 days ago, right? So take note of that. These are really nuanced things, but they are very important if you're going to be presenting yourself professionally on a platform that, frankly, is very personal. So one of the other things here is on forums and on Reddit, on groups, you need to provide value to get value. Now, you can message people all day. You might not ever get a response. But if you comment on someone's question and actually offer value, like networking, give before you take, right? You need to offer value. You need to give advice. You need to help people out. That will build credibility. That will build expert status in people's minds, whether it's the person you're helping in the group or people who are looking at the comments. They will see you. They'll see you participating. They'll see you that you're active. So either that person will come back to you and be like, hey, I have another problem. Can you help me? This time, maybe pay for it. And then other people in the group, if you message them, if they have an issue, they want to have, if they want to work with someone or they have a project, they probably have seen you comment before. Oh, I know this person. They had good advice. I probably will want to work with them. It's very, very minute, but it does make a huge difference. And if you become an expert in the group and you help a lot of people, people will give you shout outs. People will say, hey, this person, blah, 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 did a great job on my website. Highly recommend them. That will mean you probably get 2 or 3 messages from people in the group who are looking for someone to help them that haven't posted their project yet. That's how you're going to build a good rapport. You're able to get your first project in the door. Now, Can't promise you a timeline, can't say that's going to work for everyone, but that is how I was able to start. I was able to start by doing simple fixes, helping people do a couple pages here, fixing with like, I started on X theme and moved to Divi and Elementor and kind of really built up those things before I was able to hire developers and a whole team that started building websites a little bit higher level than that. But you got to start somewhere. And this is what enabled us to go from a tiny one-man show organization, right, to a 15-member creative agency with designers, developers, project managers, people who are doing everything across the board, right? So you can get started here. You don't have to grow that quickly. You don't have to do that. That was my goal. You could stay single, solo entrepreneur and make this happen, build simple websites or build complex websites, whatever you want to do. You need to know what your goal is. Take a look at what you want to build, focus on that market, and do the best you can do. That's going to be what's going to drive your business long term. Is you're not doing one-time projects, you're building long-term relationships. And I will be honest with you, in my experience with this, I've been very fortunate, but I've worked with one client who I met through a Facebook group because of one small issue they had. I helped them fix it. And then they came back to me a few weeks later and they're like, hey, I have another issue. Can you fix this one for me? And then they're like, hey, actually, I run a creative group. Can you help us build some projects? Because I like working with you. So we started working with this person. Not only did we work on multiple projects with the same client, but then they referred us to their colleagues and other people in the industry who we still work with to this day on other projects. So, and the amount of projects that we worked on increased, and the complexity and the size of the projects increased over time. As we built trust, as we worked together, we were able to do more. And that formed into a nice partnership, right? That right there is the power of being able to build a great relationship through doing great work on a Facebook group. And you're able to take things to the next level, right? And be able to really build consistent and sustainable income from projects that are good and you enjoy working on them. One of the other ways you can do it is local businesses. You can go and talk to them. This is going to be a little bit less on the list because you're making more of a cold introduction. I would recommend if you can have an introduction to someone, have a little bit more of a warm introduction. That would be ideal. If you know someone who knows a business owner that might need a website or organization, if you're at a networking event and you meet someone and you're like, hey, you know what? I would love to have this connection to this person. If you know they know someone else, that's the way you can be. Basically just go and ask. And you go with a curiosity of learning about their business, learning about their company. What are they trying to do? Ascertain if you can really help them with a website. If you think you can, pitch them on it, talk to them about it, see if it's worth the value that they want, and you can take it step by step. So local businesses and organizations are a great option, but I'd highly recommend trying a few other things first, going through other people to get to those local businesses and not just walking in the door and talking to them, because that's a bit distracting from their day to day. And I would highly recommend reaching out to them first and set up a meeting for coffee or something like that if you're able to, so you can meet them in a neutral ground and you can really explain to them their value of what a website will bring to their business. Lastly, is definitely taking a look at freelancer websites. Now, when I say lastly, I mean lastly, because these are where you're going to have the race to the bottom type pricing. You're not going to maybe make as much money because of commissions that are taken from these websites. You're going to be losing about 20%. But you're going to have that commission taken out when you're working with freelancer websites, or Upwork is one. Freelancer, Lorem is a closed network one. It's something that I actually found a little bit ago. They're a really cool company. They're based out of New York City. You should check them out. It's asklorem.com. And this is not a paid promotion at all or affiliate, but I do know the team that's there. It actually is really awesome for people getting started in Squarespace, Shopify, WordPress, Wix. There's all sorts of things you can get involved in there. And it allows you to find clients or have clients come to you, and you can actually accept them and talk with them before you even bid or quote a project. It's a little less formal than Upwork. You have to submit a bid and do an interview. It's a little bit more streamlined, and I like it a lot better than those other websites. So my recommendation is, if you're really need to find leads and you're really looking to make money and you just want to get started and have a few projects, then I would recommend going to freelancer websites and just getting started there. I know there's a lot of people that are very successful on these websites, but there's a lot of people who aren't. So if you're really try and you have a good presentation, you're able to write well, you can make a good proposal, try these websites. It might work out for you. It's not something that I've ever been very successful with. I have gotten a few projects from these websites in the beginning, but they're not ones that I kind of would like to remember, to be honest with you. They weren't the best projects. The projects that I honestly were the best are ones that came from Facebook groups or from referrals, and that's really where you want to be. So with that in mind, please leave any questions or comments down below. I'll be happy to respond to them. If there's anything else you want to know, if you have any personal experience with any of these things, and you're like, hey, I want to share, please share down below. I'm sure it'll help other people. And I'm really looking forward to sharing other videos with you like this one. So please give a like, subscribe to the channel, and just let me know if there's anything else I can do to help you grow your business and really make it successful in building websites. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video, and we'll talk soon.